The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com.
Welcome to episode 5 of Work the Left Side. This week I am joined by Ryan Palmer, and it's the first of the Spotlight episodes where we look at one superstar, and we just discussed various matches throughout their career. So basically putting the spotlight onto that person. So this week it is Bret the Hitman Hart, the excellence of execution, the best there was, the best there is, and the best there ever will be. Yeah, that's it. Me and Ryan sit down, have a laugh, talk about his matches. We find a few hidden gems. So it was a good episode to record, and I hope you enjoy it. So I'll leave you to it. Just enjoy. Any future superstars you want featured in the Spotlight episode, just put it in the comments, let me know. Tell me on Twitter at WorkLeft, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button on YouTube so you know when new episodes drop and these little midweek messages pop up. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully next week I will confirm when the Kid Cash interview is going to be recorded and when it will be airing. Just sorting out dates at the minute with him. So yeah, that's it. Go enjoy, and I'll speak soon. Cheers. Bye bye. So everyone, welcome to episode 5 of Work the Left Side. I am joined this week by Mr. Ryan Palmer. He has joined us and will hopefully continue to join me on what we're going to call Spotlight episodes. So we're going to be looking into, this week it's Bret Hart. Then we'll be looking into like various other people over various episodes. So we'll probably look at Brian Pillman. We'll look for suggestions. If there's anybody that you want us to look into, let us know. Just put it in the comments somewhere. So Mr. Palmer, say hi.
Hello, how's it going? Long time no speak, Nick.
Exactly,
long time no speak.
Glad to have you on, man. It's nice to. Feels like good old days.
Good to be on the away from the dark side, so to speak.
We have the higher ground.
Yes.
So this week it is episode 1. We thought who better to put the spotlight on than the excellence of execution. Basically, which is going to be looking at Bret Hart matches. We're not going to do the boring stuff. It's not going to be like a comic book film where you get the origins over and over again. Everybody knows who Bret Hart is. You know he's the son of Stu Hart. You know he's from Calgary. You know he trained at the Hart Dungeon. You know he Stampede. Yada yada yada. So you know this. That's it. It's done. So I kind of want to just talk about some of the matches and then try and get a top 5 of our matches that we would, if you've never seen a Bret Hart match before, which would be shocking.
Totally shocking.
These will be your top 5 to go watch. So I am, as it is my house and you are a guest, I am going to extend the courtesy to you to go first. So you can give me one of your Bret Hart matches, or just some of the Bret Hart matches you've been enjoyed watching whilst doing your homework.
Well, I mean, whilst doing my homework, I was going over the usual ones that I've seen since growing up. All my takes are from 88 to 93, which is like the years that I was really, really into Bret Hart. I went away to uni from 93, so after and didn't come back home until 96. Well, I didn't come back home at all, actually. I didn't rewatch wrestling until 1999 because of what happened in 93 WrestleMania 9, which is one of the matches. It was like I'm watching the main event and Bret Hart loses. I see Bret get salt thrown in his eye by Mr. Fuji, and then he gets pinned. I'm just like, shit, no, fuck. Mr. Fuji just screwed Bret out of the title, and Yokozuna's wild. I'm thinking, fair enough. I can dig a Yokozuna. I can dig a Yokozuna feud, and then suddenly, what's this? No, Hogan, no, get away, Hogan, no. Stop, and then hell, I'm just sat there like I'm like a 19-year-old kid, just like, what the hell? I'm not totally clued up to the business, but I'm kind of clued up to the business. I'm just like, shit, I hate Hogan, and Bret was my guy. I'm not watching this ever again. And then didn't until 99. Wow. So, as I say, from anything after 93, I didn't watch unless I've rewatched either just out of interest or for this particular podcast. One of the matches that I've got in my list was, I think I might have watched back in the day, but watching it now, I was just like, oh my God, this is fucking outstanding. I don't actually remember watching it. It's Bret versus the 1-2-3 Kid.
Yes.
And this is off like 1-2-3 Kid. We will know that's X-Pac, Sean Waltman, Six. During this time, he was like the Lightning Kid. He was a jobber. He was the Kid, getting beaten up but looking really good on Superstars. And then all of a sudden, he comes back as the 1-2-3 Kid, and he gets a win over Razor Ramon. And people are just losing their mind. They're just like, oh my God, who's this fucking kid? So I think this is from 94. So it is from 94. Raw episode in 94. So I don't think I was watching back then. But even so, if I had been watching then, I would have just said, yeah, that is one of the best matches I've ever friggin' seen. And one of the best X-Pac 1-2-3 Kid matches that I've ever seen, which is a lot for me to say because I don't really rate X-Pac that highly. I don't rate him at all. I think it's because of this 1-2-3 Kid era. I'm just thinking, I'm not really convinced about this jobber. He got a win over Razor Ramon. Yeah, all people freaking do. I think maybe my opinion would have been changed if I'd seen this back then. Because it's like when I started watching again, it's like, X-Pac is in this clique with Hunter Hearst Helmsley and this big lady called China. I was like Triple H, that's Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and that kid with the beard, that's the 1-2-3 Kid.
He's grown up now. He has a beard.
He's grown up. He's got a beard. I recognise you. So this match, it's got Macho Man on commentary. I think JR's on commentary as well, and JR sounds really, really high pitched and really, really loud.
He almost sounds like Cornette. You know, he's still kind of got that old school accent. When I was watching it, I was like, kind of, it flips between JR and Cornette, and I'm like, oh shit. So it kind of not put me off because the match is so good and Macho Man more than makes up for it. But every now and again, I was just hearing Cornette, and I was like, no, we don't like Cornette.
He's really got a wild voice. 1-2-3 Kid, he's got it.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Michael.
Another thing about all the matches that I've picked, apart from one, because that one of them's a WCW match. Earl Hebner referees all the friggin' matches. So, wow, what a bizarre coincidence.
Okay, I'll have to come up on that, but yeah, probably right in the sense of just he was always around the big picture one. So Earl would have been the guy given the job.
Definitely,
makes the portrayal, you know, in '97 a whole lot more sort of like, you know, he'd worked with him so many times.
It's even more heartbreaking now knowing that maybe Bret is like, yeah, I trust you that much. I want you to be the ref in most of my big matches. And then in '97, he does that to him. He's just like, fuck, makes it even worse.
Yeah,
But,
I'd never seen it before. I'll give a shout out to Mick, because he was the one who mentioned it on Facebook when I was on about doing all this. Oh no, it was on Twitter. And then obviously you mentioned that you'd already seen it, so I was like, oh crap, right, I need to watch this match. It's on YouTube. I couldn't find it on the network, but yeah, if you just put 1, 2, 3 Kid Bret Hart into YouTube, full match, I think it's like 22 minutes.
Yeah,
absolute barn burner, man.
Absolutely insane.
Good, and it's
Can't believe it.
And like, yeah, I think Mick mentioned it as well, and also you mentioned about Macho Man being on commentary. That just elevates it as well, because Macho Man is just so into the match.
He is. He gives it. He starts a standing ovation. You see him at the end of the match. He stands up, and then everyone else stands up. It's just like, I don't know if he was told that himself. I don't think he was, because otherwise JR would have stood up if he was like in the headset. If Vince was like, give her a standing ovation, Marich. Then JR would have stood up. No, I think Macho's done it for it. He's done it for business if he says, yeah, that's genuine friggin' adulation for that match. He stands up, he's just giving it all the big, and then everyone else fucking gets up. It's just like, it's a genuine. I don't know if Meltzer or anyone's actually giving it a rating at all of 5 stars or anything, but that is a 5-star fucking match. That
if it was on a pay-per-view, because it was on a Raw, I don't know if Raws get star ratings. That'll probably be the thing. But if you just transferred it onto any pay-per-view, I'd be very surprised. You know, if it was, especially if it happened in like the Dome, that would be. But yeah, I'd highly recommend. I think we can both say this. If you haven't, just go on YouTube after you've watched this. It's 20 minutes well spent. You're not missing a better wrestling match anytime soon, I would say, unless the exploding barbed wire death match smashes it out of the park. My first pick then is going to be I found on the network. It's going to be the man. It's Bret Hart. It's a WCW match, so I thought I'll just throw a curve. And it's the man that we can't really mention, but have you got it?
Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
The Owen Hart tribute.
Yes. I found this match. I just watched it. I think I watched it like twice, pretty much just in quick succession. It was just a technical sort of masterclass. It was just 2 guys. There was no story. There was no sort of, obviously, no meaning to it. It was just pure emotion. 2 of the best guys ever in the ring, just going backwards and forwards, man. Yeah, absolute bomb. Absolutely smashed it. I'm so glad it's still on the network.
Yeah, I mean, it's on an episode of Nitro in the Kemper Arena where Owen died as well.
Oh, shit.
It's a weird one because I didn't. This is I'm sure it's like 1999. This match is October, which I started watching wrestling again because I moved in with a lass, my ex-wife, and we got Freeview on digital, as it was called. And they were really a shit company, and they were just like, yeah, please take our services. We'll offer you everything for like 20 quid a month. We're just like, okay, fair enough. So did that. Got the Sky channels. Got all the sports channels. I'm flicking through what we got late on a Friday night, 9 o'clock, and Raw's on. Yeah. So that's me getting back into Raw, and then I'm flicking through a couple of days later or something like that, and Bravo channel is on. Bravo's showing WCW. I'm just like, fuck. And it's that match, but it kind of leads me to like a breadcrumb. So I'm watching Bret Hart in WCW versus Chris Benoit. I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? Then I hear about Owen Hart. I'm thinking, what's going on? What happened to Owen Hart? So the next day I go to a library and do get on the computers in the library. And these are the dial-up or whatever it is. And it's just like, oh shit. That's how I found out about Owen. And then finding out about Owen, I found out about the screw job as well. So it's like, wow, a lot of weird fucking breadcrumbs and or whatever you call it, rabbit hole, so to speak.
God. That's a
So,
massive hole to go down. Just imagine finding out about the screw job. Obviously, yeah, because I was the same as you, man. I took a break circa, I think I was about a year later. I stopped at WrestleMania 10 and I came back in because somebody showed me the Hell in a Cell match from King of the Ring 98. So I missed like the screw job and everything like that first of all. And yeah, I just totally, same as you, you just get a little bit of a breadcrumb and then it's like, right, down the rabbit hole. And you just start looking at this, you start looking at that, you start like renting videos, trying to like watch what you'd missed. Yeah, sorry, dude. So I just
it's your one, dude. No. It is a really good match. It is a fantastic match. Even the commentary on it is top notch. Heenan is one of the commentators, and Heenan's just putting over how good the match is. He's not doing any of his heelish stick. He's in awe of the match. He knows the brevity of the match. He knows. He's aware of the emotions going through both. Benoit trained at the dungeon. He trained with Owen. I think he said I think Tenay might have said most of this, but they all kind of chipped in. Tenay was like,
he tagged with as well.
Tagged with Owen. He was on the road with Owen. It's like is as close as being a brother to Bret and Owen as anyone else could have been, as Bulldog was, like as an outsider coming in, as Bulldog was, as Neidhart was coming into the family. So he was like that close. So it all kind of brings it into even more perspective. What happens later on, in a decade to come or whatever. Oh shit! Yeah, it is a decade, wasn't it?
Yeah, literally.
Well, eight or so years later. So yeah, it's bizarre that we both got or not bizarre that we got the same match.
It's just so it's like you see that on the network and you just like, I've got to watch it. You know, because it's Benoit. As obviously as much of a terrible circumstances, like you can still put one of his matches on. And you know it's going to be a good match, and especially since it was against Bret Hart and we're doing a Bret Hart episode, it's like you can't not watch this episode. It's got to be seen. It just makes me wonder though as well, because obviously the Radicals turned up probably, I want to say about 4 months after Owen passed. Yeah. So part of me, you know, is after hearing all about how, sorry, I'm going to kind of sidebar onto Owen for a minute, but just hearing how close Benoit and Owen were. If Owen had still been alive, still been, you know, performing when those guys turned up, can you imagine a series of matches between Owen Hart and Benoit?
That would have been something else.
That's just when. That's when Owen eventually, I think, would have become world champion at some point. He would have gone through a series of matches with guys like Benoit and Guerrero and Jericho. And they would have finally put the world belt onto him, which again just makes that event so much more tragic.
So kind of that match also reminds us of William Regal and Benoit had a match.
Pillman.
Yes, that was the one. Yeah. It was. That was a phenomenal match as well.
It was a technical masterclass, wasn't it? Again, it's kind of like, just two guys doing what they do. Because Regal as well is a guy who will probably, this might be, I don't also know what the age demographic is of most people who watch this, but if you're under a certain age, you're not going to know how cool Regal is in the ring. You'll never seen him in the ring, but the guy he's just a guy who turns up on a Wednesday and shouts "War Games." War Games. But yeah, back in the day, man, Regal's boss, and him and Benoit just absolutely nailed it. I'll try and find. If you can find it on YouTube, go find it. If you do anything after this, I've got 2 matches to watch. And that's the second one. So yeah, so we're 2 for 2 at the minute. Then. That's 2 of our themes. I want to kind of avoid talking about the obvious ones until the end. So I'm trying to find some outfield matches. I found a good match against Macho Man at Slamboree 98 for WCW as well. I was trying to focus more on the WCW side because I've watched a lot of the WWE things over the last few months. So I thought, I didn't watch WCW back in the day, so it gives me an excuse to watch some of them. And at the end of it, it's Macho Man and it's Bret Hart. I was like, okay, that's got me interested. I'm going to watch that. I'm a massive mark for Macho Man. He's in my top 5. So, and apparently they've never met before. This was the first ring meeting between Macho Man and Bret Hart, which struck me as freaking amazing.
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So tell us about that match because I ain't watched it.
You know, dude, it's just it's WCW 98. If there's a few shenanigans, bit of gaga as you would expect in WCW around that time, but it's still well worth a watch. Those two guys just do what they do basically. Obviously, it's just Bret keeping it grounded, Macho Man being the more high flying side of things. Definitely want to watch, just for nostalgia, really. Just because it's Macho Man. I'm not going to focus too much on that one. It's just a quick one to say, yeah, go watch it. Go look for it on network Slamboree 98. Go check it out. And Mr. Power.
Back to me. I think I've got a lot of. Let's see. I don't think I've got all the. I don't know. I've got
91.
I've got the champ versus champ match from the Survivor Series in 93. Bret versus the first meeting between Bret and HBK.
But he's IC champ.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like Bret's first championship. The first big fucking challenge that he had, because his championship challenges up to that point really sucked. It was just like the Mountie, Papa Shango, Virgil, the Berserker, Rick Martel. You're just like, oh my god, please stop, shush. He's having this interview with Mean Gene before, and he lists those names, and Bret's just there, just like, oh shit, flipping out, stop embarrassing him, fuck. So it's just
not
like,
good to see, bro.
Nah, it's not a fucking good. It's not a good list of challenges up to that point. It gets to this point where for some strange reason, I can't remember what the backstory was, but he's facing HBK at this point. His pre-match interview wasn't too good either. He's not known for his interviews anyway, but I don't care. It's Bret. He kind of says 10. He says Shawn's name about 10 times. Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels. Oh, hell. Just get to the match. Shawn's got his Sherry Martel music as well. So it's that version that he comes out of the ring with. He's the sexy boy, the heartbreak kid. Vince is on commentary, shouting what I'm doing. It's the proper old school, new gen era match. All the usual tropes: slow start, feeling out process, the chest bump into the the ring, into the turnbuckle. The usual 5 moves of doom: elbow off Bret's rope, the middle rope, the most dangerous rope, snap suplex, all the good spots. He eventually gets Shawn in sharpshooter. It's the weird thing about this is that it's number 1, it's Shawn and Bret. Number 2, it's Earl Hebner refereeing the match. Number 3, it's the screw job finish, but sort of in reverse. Shawn gets caught in the sharpshooter. Bret slaps on the sharpshooter. Earl Hebner calls for the bell. And it's just like, oh fuck! In 1997, the roles are going to be reversed, and Earl was going to screw you over. So yeah. It all rolls back to that one again.
Well, that's it, man. Because I mean, those two, Bret's obviously fought a load of people, but the out and out rivalry, and that was the starting point. Actually, no, I don't think it was, because I think the starting point was the Rockers versus the Hart Foundation.
Yes.
Years before. That's when they first started, clashing, kind of thing. But yeah, their paths just intertwined for about 7-8 years. And it's just crazy, yeah, because I can remember watching that one when I went through my pay-per-view journey. I totally forgot that one ever happened, and I saw it. I was like, oh shit, an IC champ Shawn Michaels versus world champ Bret Hart.
Yeah,
and I was like, it just goes to show at that point like the different levels they were on.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You kind of think they were testing the waters of like, right, we'll put Shawn against Bret, see how he does, and then maybe we can sort of start to elevate him up. So in a weird twist of fate, obviously because he had a storming match with Bret, that then started Shawn's progression up to the main event roster. So Bret kind of created the monster.
Right.
How's he doing?
It's your fault, Bret.
It's your fault you made it. It's Dr. Frankenstein.
Strange ending as well, because it's Survivor Series, which I think is in November, but Santa Claus is there. So at the end of the match,
yeah.
What the hell?
Weird, yeah. He comes out and starts celebrating and like freaking, yeah, man, that just freaks me out. I was like, I don't know, if anything, like I'd rather see the gobbledygooker than that, because at least that makes sense. It's just a massive freaking turkey. But yeah, no, it's a good pick. I do remember seeing that. I remember thoroughly enjoying it. One of the ones that I never, I kind of, because same as you, I took a break, like circa the new generation. I missed all of the new generation stuff first time round, so I never saw Diesel as world champ.
I didn't either.
Kind of got the backlash of Kevin Nash is big, he's tall, he's lazy, he tears a quad every time he just moves. So I never really held him in that higher regard. But when I did the pay-per-view journey, there was a match in '95. I can't remember what pay-per-view it was. I think it's the Rumble, '95 Rumble, where it fights Diesel for the world title. And those two guys just have an absolute smashing match. They both work really well together. And it's just kind of like there's a load of runnings by the end. You get Double J, you get Owen Hart, you get Shawn Michaels, you get Road Dogg, kind of like beating both of them down. But this was the match that got me. I said to you previously that Bret worked as a heel very much, even when he was a face. And I think it was this match that was really shone to me, because he exposed the turnbuckle, and he was trying like hell to get fucking Diesel's head into that top exposed turnbuckle. He cracks him with a chair on the outside, and at one point, it's like, when he's normally would go for the figure four around the turnbuckle on the outside, he just gets like a TV camera wire and just wraps it around his feet, and he just ties it to the bottom turnbuckle, and then proceeds to get back in the ring and just stomp a mud hole in him. I'm just sat there watching it. I'm like, Bret's a good guy. Bret's the top baby face. He's the role model. And yeah, man, he's just doing all this heelish shit. And then I started noticing it more and more, like throughout '95. I was just like, Bret was a little twat sometimes. You know what I mean? And he's like, there's one match where Shawn's on commentary and he calls him out on it because he goes to get a chair. And Shawn's like, oh yeah, God, Bret, the role model, use the chair. I was like, oh, you've even got Shawn Michaels, the twat, calling out the ultimate babyface. It just amused me. So I was just like, I never saw that first time around. I just saw Good Boy Bret, same as you, up until like WrestleMania 10. But yeah, if you watch any of those matches, sort of '95 era, '95 onwards, even before he became a heel, he's got the tendencies. just totally amazed me. I was just like, I've never thought, you see that from Bret.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to try and catch another one of those matches. You've been saying catches '95, '96.
Yeah, I think it's definitely that Diesel one. I can't remember I'm sure it's '90. It's in my notes. But since we are doing this on camera, I don't want to be sat here looking at my phone like this, reading my notes. But I'll put it in the comments on the upload afterwards. But yeah, it's a match against Diesel. But Kevin Nash absolutely smashes it. Those two guys just work so well together. Actually, after watching a few of the matches, I kind of have a level of respect now for Kevin Nash. But I always kind of thought like it was a lazy big guy who just kind of got by just by associating with the right people. But it's like, oh, the dude can actually work. He actually did carry some good matches back in the day.
Wow.
So, but yeah, Diesel 95. I want to say Royal Rumble. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments. So that would be one of my obscure choices.
Cool. My next one is one of my most favourite matches of all time.
It's perfect.
Yes, it is. SummerSlam 91 for the IC Championship. Absolutely stonking match. Absolutely fantastic story being told. Everything about it is absolutely perfect, as the saying goes. Gorilla Monsoon, Piper, and Heenan are on commentary as well, and it's like a triple whammy of just pure laughs.
That's the match. Sorry, dude. Just when it's popped into my head, I think at one point they show Stu Hart on camera, and I'm pretty sure it's got like it's just his glazed look on his face. And Bobby Heenan just rips it out of him continuously, like throughout the match. He's just ripping it out of Stu. And it's like, you know why he looks so surprised? He doesn't, he snuck in. He's no idea where he is. He's like, what? I was just like, yeah, laugh, man. I was just like, wow, Bobby Heenan just absolutely ripping it out.
He's absolutely savage. He's taking the piss out of Piper, and he's taking the piss out of Stu. It's like, do you know why Piper? Well, one day Piper went home, and there was a note from his parents saying that they'd left him. It's just like, fuck now. He's just really ripping it up. And you've got Gorilla just giving it the, will you be serious? Will you stop?
Well, even Piper's kind of like begrudgingly like, okay, I'll give you that one.
Yes, he does. He does. In that, I can't really confirm that, but yeah. So just ripping the piss out of both of them. And the coach is not Jonathan Coachman, but Coach is Perfect's manager. For some reason, I can't remember why.
I forgot about him. Just
isn't
forgot he existed.
With his whistle.
Yeah.
Is it Bill Alfonso?
No, I'm just it's like a template for Alfonso, I think.
Ah, right. That's kind of. I knew you reminded me of someone else. There's like a funny bit on commentary where Piper says something like, "Coach is doing a lot of blow out there on his whistle," and then Monsoon's like, "You won't find either of these guys running out of gas." And you're just like, "Oh shit, stop now! What the fuck? Unintentional." But yeah, they go for it's a chain wrestling fest. This match, there's holds galore. There's fighting outside of the ring. Bret, like the finish of the match is the one I always remember, where Bret's on the floor. There's a double down or something like that. Then Perfect gets up. He starts dropping. He drops one leg on the Bret. Referee's admonishing. He just says, "Get away, got it." Tries to drop the second leg, but Bret freaking catches it. Bret catches it, puts him in a freaking sharpshooter, and turns him over. And it is really smooth. Even the commentary is just like, "Oh my god, he's getting in the sharpshooter." Turns him over, puts him in the sharpshooter, wins the match. Perfect just immediately just taps out. I can't take it anymore. One of the best matches I've ever seen.
Well done, he. He's trying to get out or something. He grabs him. He just rips the singlet off of him, and it's like, bloody hell. It's just, I couldn't.
Rips the singlet off completely. It's weird. It's like, apparently that match, Perfect really campaigned for Bret to go over to try and elevate him to the next level. I think this is like Bret coming off of his tag team run, dropped the tag team titles to the Quebecers or someone like that, or the Beverly Brothers, entered the singles realm into the IC mix, into a program with perfect politicking backstage, but in the right way.
Yeah.
Being the cheerleader for Bret, giving Bret the big one, giving to everyone, leading to this bit. So it's an all-round, I should say, all-round real good guy. That Perfect really was backstage.
Yeah,
so
definitely. He knew what was best for business in the sense of if somebody had talent, the dude would. I've heard so many stories of like he would just be like, if he knew you was a good worker, if he knew you knew what you were doing, and you were professional, the dude would try and do what he could do to elevate you up, kind of thing.
Yeah,
That's why I always kind of saw Perfect as the gatekeeper. He was never the world champion. I described Tyler Breeze for younger viewers in the same sort of way on NXT. They were never world champion, but you got to a certain level and you went through Perfect to get to the next step. He was the gatekeeper for that final push. If you had a good match with Perfect, that's it, you were made.
Yeah.
He obviously gave the rub to Bret. There was a match in WCW in '98 with those two. I kind of watched, just like, can they get lightning in a bottle twice? It was a good match, but that '91, man, that was the launching pad for Bret Hart. If that match didn't happen, I don't think Bret Hart happened or anywhere near as successful.
I mean, they had that 93, 94, the King of the Ring, which is not as good, but very good nonetheless. I seem to remember there was a match before that Bret was in with Razor Ramon, and Razor had stamped on Bret's fingers.
Yes.
So in this match, Bret comes out and his fingers are taped. You're just like, oh shit, fuck. Attention to detail, and he's selling the fingers. He does that a lot. He sells the injuries in his matches. I think even in this tournament, he comes out and he's like, in the final against Bam Bam Bigelow, he's selling his leg or some shit like that. But Perfect goes for his fingers because he tries to get Perfect in the sharpshooter, but Perfect goes for his fingers, and he just like, just absolute joint manipulation. Yes,
but that King of the Ring, every match he didn't win any of the matches with a sharpshooter. He won every match in a different manner, didn't he? Like a different pin or something. Because he said he wanted to incorporate that into the tournament style. So it's just kind of like, because it's a tournament, you win any way that you can. You go for a pin, you go for a pin, you go for a pin. And it just kind of adds to that. Instead of like, you see it later on, you see it now, when guys are in tournaments, they'll still win like every round with like the finish or the signature move. So I'll mix it up a little bit, make it a bit more of a story, which is what Bret did. 91 SummerSlam, jobs are good, and that's easily a top 5 match. That's I wouldn't hear anyone. If anyone disagrees, they can do one. I don't want to hear it. The obvious one for me is I'm going to jump to the top one now, because Austin versus Bret at WrestleMania 13. That to me that's still one of my favorite all-time matches. That's probably to me what that Mr. Perfect one is to you, kind of thing. I've watched it twice today, and I watched it a couple of days ago as well, just because I knew we were doing this. That match is just superb. You get a double turn, because obviously the logic going into it is that Austin's the heel, Bret's the face. Obviously the whole complexity of the business is changing at that point. People, because of the NWO and everything like that, people are booing the bad guys. People don't want to see baby faces. They want the middle finger. They want the beer swelling. That's the start of the match, and by the end of it, both of them have played the part so well. When that match is finished, that Bret's heel, Austin's the face. You've got Shamrock in there as ref, which was his first appearance, and it just kind of gave it that extra intensity, because they're just big as Shamrock up at this point. I say, it's like the most dangerous man on the planet. It's when they acknowledged UFC. When there was actually sort of like, this guy is a legitimate badass, and he's the only person we could get to keep these two guys in check.
Match, it's non-stop. It starts off, I don't even think the bell rings. Austin's
No,
on. Austin's just on Bret.
Yep.
And then they're just fighting and fighting and fighting. They go out the ring. They're fighting. They go into the crowd. They land on Tony Atlas and Lou Albano, who are in the crowd for some reason. They go through the crowd. They go up the steps. It's like the chicken fight. If you've ever watched Family Guy, it's like that. They go up the frigging steps. You've got fans just laying hands on them, just like, you're taking your life into your own hands there, man.
Yeah.
So they go all up the stairs. They're still fighting. They come back down the stairs. They go back over the ring guard, the guardrail where they went over in the first place. And then I think from there, they go back in the ring. They go out the ring. And then Bret flings... Well, Austin goes to fling Bret into the Timekeepers era, but Bret reverses it. Yes, and that's where apparently Bret blades Austin, but you can't see it, and he doesn't get fined for it. They were supposed to. There was like a no blading rule, or you get fined for it.
That match works so much better though because of the crimson.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So Bret kind of like sneakily blades Austin, and then later on he tells McMahon, no, it was completely by accident. It was hard way. It was totally hard way.
Just hit it on the bell.
Exactly. Goes back in there. He's choking him with the cord, the camera cord. He's a fucking, as you say, it's a complete bloody mess. It's non-stop until the point where Bret gets Austin in the sharpshooter. Austin tries to friggin' power out and he's screaming, he's got the blood running down his face and stuff. And he just fades and he fades and he fades. He's in the pool of his own blood. And Ken Shamrock has to stop it. It is a perfect fucking match. That it is a work of art. Absolutely.
You also had the cojones of Austin afterwards, where he's struggling to get up.
Yes,
that was just the final point, man. That just kind of topped it up, where he was like pushing away the refs, like stop people, walking out of here, and he just kind of staggers down. And at that point, the crowd's just like, it's like the second coming. Austin is that was just spot on. Obviously, they had a match at Survivor Series prior to that, which is good. But this one just absolutely smashed it out of the park. This was just, to me, it's one of the, if you've got people who don't like wrestling or don't know wrestling, don't like it, but I've never really watched it, I've probably got like a handful of matches that I would sort of say, I'll make them watch this, I'll make them watch this, I'll make them watch this. And that would be one of them for me. But again, don't know if they'd appreciate it because they won't get the turn, but I think they would still appreciate the tenacity of it. But as a fan, we get so much more out of it.
Yes, definitely. I would say it is one of the best matches I've ever seen. It's just start to finish non-stop. Absolutely. I don't know how they kept that pace up, but that would have been one of the matches that I would have re-watched years later, because I had no knowledge of that match when I started re-watching wrestling. There was a fella at work back in the day that I used to work at that was a wrestling fan. He came into work one day with an Austin 316 shirt on, or it was he actually had an Austin 316 shirt, and I was like, the fuck does that mean? And it was just like literally just before I got back into it. So, and then he had one trying to get blood out of a stone. It was Stone Cold Steve Austin's bloody face. I was just like, huh? And then looked closer, it was like WWF. And I was like, okay, don't know who that is. And then months later down the line, I found out.
Yeah. But again, same thing. Because I can't remember. So I got back into it in '98, and a lot of these matches, when I watched them for the first time, it was on recommendation. It was people like saying, like the guy who gave me the tape for the King of England in '98, which got me into it. He then lent me another tape, which was WrestleMania 13. So I think that was the second match after the Hell in a Cell match. That kind of got me back into wrestling. I was like, okay, this is, I can get into this again now. And then kind of progressively went backwards from there. Well, I went back as far as I got back into wrestling for Austin. that was it basically. Mankind got my toe in. Austin, water over the head, job in, and I went back to King of the Ring '96. But we'll discuss that another point because I'm not going off on a tangent about Austin now. I'm like, but it does lead me into the next one. Canadian Stampede.
Oh yes.
That's just for the intensity of it, man.
Oh yeah.
I know it's not just a Bret Hart match. Obviously, it's like a 5-on-5 tag match. Obviously, the Hart Foundation versus Legion of Doom, Ken Shamrock, Goldust always amuses me. Like, Goldust is in there, but and Austin. Dude, and that atmosphere, that crowd was just like you can't that and just get shivers, man. That's just like goosebump central.
Hard cams actually shaking as well.
Yes.
At the end of that match, it's just fucking amazing.
Just the only thing I can liken it to would be like the ECW, the first one night stand.
Oh yeah.
Or just anything in the Hammersmith with an ECW. It's like the most ECW arena without being in ECW. It was just the crowd was feral. Just the level of hatred. It was like, it just reminds you like this is. Obviously, I think kayfabe was still a big part at that point. Obviously, the internet hadn't ruined everything by then. A lot of people still bought into it 100%. Good guys, bad guys. Bret Hart is a Canadian superhero. Austin's the bad American guy who's coming over and trying to steal our, took our jobs. But yeah, it's just, again, it's just one of those matches. You just watch it and it's just the intensity of it, man. It just amplifies the match. The match is great. Obviously, you got, because of the people involved, it's got to be a good match. You got Pillman, which automatically gets my interest. You got Austin, Owen, Bulldog, Bret. It's just an absolute. And Austin just totally annihilates the other brothers as well. Like, he ends up fighting with Bruce, and what the other one's called, I don't know. But
is it Bruce that flings the beer over him?
Yeah, Bruce always did my head in. Bruce always did my head in there. Whenever you saw him, he's just kind of, he was so desperate, if you like, for the spotlight. He's just kind of like the forgotten brother. And it was just stood there like, it's like, Bruce, sit down, mate. You're not involved. Sit down. But yeah, again, it's one of those matches. The aim of this episode is just to get recommendations for for matches to watch. And yeah, this is definitely up there. If you've never seen it, get on the network. Canadian Stampede in your house. It's in '97. I only watched it for the first time a couple of months ago, and yeah, I've probably watched it 2 or 3 times since. And it's just an absolutely awesome match. Just for you've not seen anything like it in WWE. It's a one of a kind match in that sense.
Yeah.
Go on then.
I've gone for one of the most obvious, Bret versus Bulldog, 92 SummerSlam at Wembley Stadium. Oh yes. So again, another in my top 3 Bret matches. I think Bret's even said that this is one of his favorite matches ever he's ever wrestled in. You've got the stories surrounding it. Bulldog was pissed the night before, smoking crack and drinking beer with Jim the Anvil Neidhart. So he's so hungover that he forgets the layout of the match, and Bret has to take him through the match. At one point during the match, he's out the ring and he throws up underneath the ring. I think that you can actually see when that happens, but the camera pulls away. You've got it. It's in Wembley itself. It's in England. It's a fucking pay-per-view in England. One of the big 4 at the time. We didn't get that at all. And it was during the day. Well, obviously it was during the day, but it must have been broadcast during like prime time in America and then replayed during the day over here or some shit. I'm confusing myself. But then you get you get the family element of Davey being married, Bret's sister Diana. Pre-match promo is really personal. Davey's just like, when we get into that ring, I don't know you. We're just strangers.
Good impression, brother.
Bret, in response, is like, what? You say you don't know me? I was the one that introduced you to my sister in the first place. And it's like, it's just like the promos there. It's fantastic. It kind of reminds me of the like side note again. Bret versus Piper, WrestleMania 8. The promos there where he's like, yeah, I knowed you from when you were that high. I knowed you. I went to your mama's house and we'd have sandwiches and stuff. Bologna sandwiches. Watch your nose. I only got one piece of bologna, but that's all right. So promos back then were funny. So yeah, Diana Hart's in the crowd. She's looking on really intently, really worried. Bret is you can't tell he must be carrying the match a lot because it's a headlock match. There's a lot of rest holds. A lot of these matches, as I said, they've started off with a feeling out process. They're not flashy. They don't start off 100 miles an hour. Apart from that apart from the Austin one. But this one kind of sticks to the feeling out process. But this one's even more because I think Davey probably has forgotten a lot. So Bret's got him in the headlock and he's just like calling spots. The crowd don't stop at all. The crowd are absolutely on fire. They're a football crowd. They give the you can hear that in the background. It's all kids as well. It's all high pitched. Davey, Bret, Davey, Bret. The partisan nature of the crowd turns Bret heel because everyone's cheering for Davey because he's from England, and Bret's it's just like hands on his hips. He's like, huh, really? Okay, fine. So he starts fucking working heel. He starts stomping on Davey. He starts grinding Davey, punching Davey, giving him stiff uppercuts and all sorts of stuff. So close to the finish of the match, you have you've obviously got Bret doing the 5 moves of doom, the elbow, the snap suplex, the side Russian leg sweep. He puts Davey in the sharpshooter, but as Heenan says, he can't get his legs, he can't get those hind legs on. He can't get wrapped down his hind leg. But Davey gets to the frigging ropes. He counters that. Bret's just like livid, stomps him a few times, whips Davey to the ropes, ducks down. Davey, actually, I think it's, Bret goes to the ropes. Bret goes for a sunset flip, but Davey counters that, hooks the legs. 1, 2, 3. Crowd goes ballistic. There's a bloke in the crowd with a plastic bag. You see him with a plastic bag. It's like
it's still real to him, damn it.
It's still real to him. I think if I would have been in that crowd, I would have fucking acted the same way. It's like that would be the equivalent pop to if they were watching England in a cup final and England had scored the winning goal. That would have been just that was the equivalent pop.
That was a massive moment.
Absolutely massive moment. You get the hugs. You get Diana coming in the ring. Davey gets presented with the belt by Bret, and all 3 of them hug, and pyros go off, and they go off the air.
Oh, you get that little tease at first, don't you? Like, they're going to hug. Can Bret forgive him?
Can Bret forgive? And he begrudgingly, he forgives him. They hug. I think it's during that match, when I originally watched it, I'm sure that the commentary goes out and it's just Heenan talking by himself. And it's like, what's going on? But they restored it on the network. So, but one of the all-time best.
Yeah, just the facts, like you said, man, because I've heard that story, where Bret was saying, like, he had to carry Davey Boy through that match, which speaks volumes for Bret. But part of me, I was so pissed at Davey Boy when I heard that first time I heard that story. I was like, no, it's the biggest match of your career. You go out and get absolutely wrecked the night before. I was like, what are you to do that kind of thing? I was just like, Yeah, I just remember being like really disappointed in him when I first heard that story. I was like, yeah, Bret's awesome, Davey boy. No. You know, you just, God, dude, be professional. You're hometown. I was just, it might have been nerves. We'll say it was nerves and we'll give him a pass on it. But yeah, that's, it ties into what I was going to say next. I was going to bring up the Piper WrestleMania 8 one. Because again, man, it's just, anytime you kind of get that family, even though they weren't family, like you said, they kind of had that, they've known each other for years. They're as good as family, you know, they're damn near brothers, blah blah blah. And the pre-match promo by Piper, you mentioned it, was just absolutely banging. If there's any fans like who have watched this that have never seen any promos from like the 90s, you know, any Piper promos, any Savages promos, any Ted DiBiase promos, Jake the Snake promos,
Ultimate Warrior promo.
Oh my God. For a whole totally different reason. Just the man's just but this Piper one is one of the best promos, I think, just because of the authenticity to it. It just feels genuine, man. And it's just like Piper's a god on the mic. And that match itself is again, you kind of like, it was babyface versus babyface on that match.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know, who does the heel, who does not the heel? There's a spot in that match where they've got the ring bell.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, do I hit him? Do I not hit him? And
Heenan's just like, hit him, waffle him with the
bell. They just pull the audience in, man. Both of those guys have literally got the audience like right there.
Worked the crowd, fully worked him.
Just stood there looking at the audience.
Yeah, he just puts it down.
It's like, yeah. And then he gets him with, it's where he gets the sleeper hold on him.
Oh, yeah.
And
climbed up the middle row.
Goes up the row, pushes back to try it, and then, just pins him off underneath with that way. It's again, though, it's an inventive finish for a Bret match. You know, that's one thing about the Bret matches is a majority of them, man, were very very inventive. Obviously, you got the 5 moves. You know, that happened. That's the same with most people. But you always had the chance of it. There being a twist in there somewhere, which I always kind of look for. That's what I always look forward to with Bret matches, which is why I kind of like, even when you go back and watch them now, you kind of like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot about that. You know, I forgot it had that ending. So yeah, that speaks volumes for Bret for me. That's one of the reasons he stands up as being one of the guys that you can go back and you can just watch his matches. You know, the guy was technically sound. There was no wasted movement.
Another thing about that match, the significance. Well, there's like 3. Bret bladed again. Bret bladed in that match, which I don't think he was supposed to. And they got fined. They got fined for doing that. Piper was pulling for Bret in that match again, trying to elevate him. Which leads on to the next point. It was like 16 or 17 years before that someone had pinned Piper to the mat. So no one else had done it up until that point.
Yes, because he refused to get pinned, didn't he? Because he refused it because obviously he said you lose heel heat. Every time you get pinned as a heel, you lose that heat. Which in this day and age is like crazy to sort of think of. But at the time, it's like Piper was that committed to it. And he would have walked. You know, and that was something that he stood by. And I totally forgot about that. But that's a massive thing, because for Bret to be the first guy to pin Piper's shoulders down, well, since WrestleMania, obviously before WrestleMania 1, but in the world of the WWE, Piper hadn't been pinned since like WrestleMania 1 up to WrestleMania 8.
Shit.
Yeah, man, But again, that speaks volumes for Bret and Piper. Obviously, Piper gave the go-ahead to do it. And if Piper hadn't, you think they would have found a way around it. They would have done some sort of screw finish or something to still get Bret elevated. But that was the final nod by Piper, wasn't it? Just to be like, here you go.
This is the guy. This is the guy. Push
the future world champion.
Yeah,
he can pin me. He gets to 1, 2, 3. But yeah, that WrestleMania 8 match is just superb. I did have another one that just sprang to mind, and it's just gone again. It's going to come. Right, I'll let you go on about one because I've just totally trying to thought.
There's a couple of
honorary mentions.
Honorary mentions. Hart Foundation versus Demolition. The both Demolition ones is the 2 out of 3 falls match at SummerSlam 90. The first one at SummerSlam 88. Both those are really good. The second one has all 3 members of Demolition, Axe Smash, and Crush. But it starts off with Crush and Axe, and then during the shenanigans, Axe comes and hides under the ring, and they do sort of twin magic, so to speak. And then the Legion of Doom gets involved and pulls him out and shit, and then the Hart Foundation win the second win the titles. The first match, there's shenanigans because Mr. Fuji's the manager of he's still the manager of Demolition in the second match, as well as Jimmy Hart's out there as well for some reason. But in the first match, I think Bret gets hit with Mr. Fuji's cane, and he gets pinned, and Demolition win to retain the titles in that match. But both those matches, in terms of the tag run of the Hart Foundation, stand out pretty well. I think they had really good matches with British Bulldogs. They had Rockers. With the Rockers as well, Rougeau brothers. I think even the Beverleys as well, and the Nasty Boys as well. So they had a fucking excellent run in the tag division. They only won the tag titles twice, but as honorary mentions go, have a look at the tag run as well. I think I mostly remember Bret as a tag team competitor. Baby. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the big guy with his crazy promos, and then
they started off as heels, didn't they? The Hart Foundation.
Yes, it did. Yeah, they were heels.
Obviously, bar circa 97, you always think of Bret as this like massive baby face. And it's kind of like, actually, in hindsight to what I said beforehand, the dude knows how to work heel. Because, he was a heel for so long in the Hart Foundation. That's how that kind of sidebars into, I found a match on the network, which was Bret the Hitman Hart versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from 88.
Wow.
Yeah. It's basically Bret with shortish hair in a ring that looks huge for some reason against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which is be one of those kind of fantasy matches where if you look back at like Steamboat versus Savage at WrestleMania 3 and like Perfect and Bret from SummerSlam 91, like the technical masterclass on both of those matches, like, next level shit. So, I would fancy book like Bret Hart going against Steamboat both in the prime. To me, that would have been a 5-star, absolutely storming match. So this was a little bit of a taster of it. If you get a chance, as an honorary mention, just put Bret Hart into the network, and it's one of the viewable matches. Just watch it for the size of the ring as well, because I've gone batshit crazy. That ring looks freaking huge, and it's just totally threw me off the entire match.
It's a WWF match.
Yeah, circa 1988, but it's like some ice hockey arena with it's like a proper old school house show match. But yeah, man, the ring looks huge. I don't know why, but it just literally threw me off the entire match. I was there looking at it I rubbing my eyes. I'm like, no, that's a big fucking ring. But the most honourable of mentions has obviously got to be the feud with Owen.
WrestleMania
10, SummerSlam 94, the cage match. Obviously, prior to that, they had loads of good matches. They had loads of good tag matches as well, leading up to the eventual split. But yeah, WrestleMania 10 and SummerSlam 94, those two matches were obvious ones for me. That's why I didn't really go into them prior to this. I won't go into it too much, but the WrestleMania 10 match, potentially It's been deemed one of the greatest WrestleMania matches ever. Most definitely the greatest first
opening match. Yeah.
And there's also you tried to mention it earlier about the Yokozuna match.
Yokozuna.
Bret and Yoko, those two had a few good matches, man. Those two worked really well together. I think, given the size of Yokozuna, they balanced off each other so well. I would recommend viewing some of their matches.
Another one I've just remembered is it never actually aired. The championship match between Bret and Ric Flair, where Rick wins the WWF championship. I remember watching Superstars of Wrestling, and Bret was on it as champion, just like, and then this happened on the what is that? It's like still pictures. Yeah, it's like, why is that? It was just like they just showed the still pictures, and it was like, oh well, he won, but you didn't film it. But then years later, it turned out they did film it, and it's on the network. So it's just like I've seen bits and pieces of it. It is a very good match. It's odd to see. It's odd to see Ric Flair tapping out at that time as well, or submitting. But,
We'll have to have a discussion at some point to see whether we do a Ric Flair episode, because he's never been somebody that I've got. But if you get him, then we'll do the episode and you can help me understand.
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm just like, to me, he just gets thrown off the top rope. We'll save that for the episode. But yeah, I know the importance of Ric Flair, though. I know the name obviously carries like stick, and potentially the greatest ever performer. So we'll discuss that down the line. So yeah, dude, I think barring any totally out of the box suggestions, I think we've mentioned all the key matches.
Yeah, that one that resurfaced a couple of years ago. I can't even remember what his name is now. Where he made him look really, really, really good. But I can't even. They thought they'd lost the tape. It was like some guy that was having a tryout with Vince. So they say, yeah, put him in with Bret. Bret made him look like $1 million. But it was actually, he didn't turn out to be very good at all. So he had like another match with someone else and just stunk up the arena. And Vince was like, yeah, you're fired, pal.
Yeah, so, it's basically all Bret. Bret just made the guy look really, really good.
Yeah.
Next man was like, yeah, no.
It's bad. I can't remember what his name is, but it resurfaced a few years ago. But that's an out of the box kind of a suggestion. But
if anybody knows what Mr. Palmer is talking about, put it in the comments, because I'm curious. I need to know who this guy is. That was just so bad that only Bret could carry him to a good match. It's kind of like the old. I know you said about 1, 2, 3 Kid, but the guy was. Who was the guy that people put you in the ring with if they wanted to test you out, kind of thing? Because apparently there's the logic of, if you can't have a good match with Kid, you can't have a good match. They just shoot you out. That sounds like the situation with the Bret Hart thing there. It's like, yeah, Bret's carried him to a good match, and then nobody else can. So it's like, yeah, no, see you later. So, right, I am going to call this because I've got a really strong urge to go Google who find out who that is. So I'm just going to be sat here thinking about that otherwise. So that is Mr. Palmer. Dude, thank you so much though for it's been an awesome episode. I just looked at the time. Shit. We've gone over the hour mark with the target time. But yeah, dude, it's just been an absolute blast talking to you, man. It's just,
dude,
it's flown by.
No problem at all. I will do this fucking for hours and hours. And I will happy to do this again as well.
Yes, good man. So we need to do, we'll discuss this between us, who the second spotlight will be on. If you've got any requests, let me know. If you want to have a go at me for saying I don't get Ric Flair, have a go at me. Explain to me why. Ryan can tell me why I should get him on a future episode. I'll tell him why he should appreciate X-Pac. You know, we can go both ways. But yeah, that's it, people. So, do you want to plug your socials, Ryan?
Oh yeah. I'm back on Facebook as of in the next 2 hours because my ban is up in 2 hours. You can catch me on Twitter at Yardy316. That's about it, really. I'm not plug anything else. I've got nothing else to plug.
Right. Well, you can catch me on Twitter at Work Left. Follow or search Work the Left Side on Facebook. Search for Nick Towers WTLS on YouTube. Subscribe, like, follow, hit the notification buttons, do the normal thing you crazy kids do. And then, yeah, we'll see you soon. But from me, I want to say thank you to you lot for listening, and a thank you to Mr. Palmer massively for doing this. Man, yeah, it's been a blast. Thank you so much.
No worries, dude. Thank you very much for having us.
That's all right, dude.